Alright, so the last video that I shot about half an hour ago didn't work because this SD card is corrupted. So I'm gonna try to take another shot of this espresso coming out of the flair. So the way Samsung sets up their cameras, it's stupid. The software makes no sense. I can't switch from the front camera to the back camera. So anyways, they suck. So this is Guatemalan coffee. It's about 15 grams. It's probably more like 14.9 grams because I probably lost some. Anyways, we're gonna see how it looks coming out of the portafilter thing. All right, so I'm putting that lid over it. There's maybe just a little bit too much coffee in here. It'll still work fine, but there's just a little bit more. There's just a little bit more than necessary. More than you should have. So, anyways, the point is to see it coming out and see what it looks like. I thought my water was heated up already, so I gotta give it a second to heat up. We're using the, see, it's hard to take a fucking thing. I have to hold the camera in the other direction to take a picture or something. It's stupid. So, here's the grinder we're using. It's a Bodum Bistro. It only cost me like $30. And so the grind on it isn't, I mean, it's a very, I think if you buy it new, it's like $80 now. So, obviously it doesn't have the best grind, but it for the price, it's supposed to be one of the best, one of the most consistent grinds for grinders under $100. I think it outperformed the Barata Encore, whatever the hell. I think it outperformed the Barata Encore. That's like $120 new, something like that. So, anyways, what I like to do is I like to do a pre-infusion for, I would say, about 20 to 30 seconds, although I don't normally time my shots. Basically what I'm doing is I'm just waiting for, well, you'll see here in a second. The idea is I think the way some people that are using flares, I think the way some people are doing it is to pour the water in and not put any pressure on it for the first however long they want to do their pre-infusion, for the first 20, 30 seconds, 10 seconds, whatever. I think what they're doing is they're just putting the water in and not putting any pressure in. I can't remember who said it. I think it was the guy that runs the Flair group on Facebook, and he's done some of the tutorials for Flair, some of the questions and answers. He brought up the point that if you do a pre-infusion, that water's basically just sitting on top of the coffee bed. And I didn't think about that before, but that's absolutely right. The coffee bed or the coffee puck is way too dense for the water to penetrate through. So he was saying that he doesn't think doing a pre-infusion makes sense. But so what I started doing since he mentioned that is I do the pre-infusion, but what I do is I just use a very slight amount of pressure at first. Alright, so here we go. So what I've been doing is I just use a very small amount of pressure at first. I don't know if you can see this or not, but I'm filling it up right now. It's just off of the boil. So this water is probably about 98 degrees Celsius, I would imagine, because it's just off the boil, but still. So I put the plunger in right away, and then I start putting pressure on it immediately. This time, you can see I just waited a couple seconds because I'm filming this and because I only have two hands. If I had three hands, I would I would have done that right away. See if we can get a good shot of that. There we go. Alright. So now I'm starting my Frankenstein scale. But now you can see what's going on there now. So I'm putting just a very slight amount of pressure on here. And what I'm doing is I'm waiting for the first little droplets of coffee to start forming, the first little coffee beads. You can see them right there now. And I'm trying to use really, really, really steady, very light pressure. Now the coffee's just beginning to start falling. And so now I'll start ramping up the pressure very, very, very gradually. Ever so slightly, I'm increasing the pressure. But I really just want to make sure that the pressure's nice and steady. And I'm really just waiting for that surface to fill up with liquid, which would be indicative of having a nice even shot. So you can see there's a nice little, almost an equatorial triangle forming in the middle, which is ideal. And it's starting to form in. So now I'm going to start ramping up the pressure. I'm increasing the pressure slowly and a little faster. Now the pressure's really starting to run. And now I'm going to start applying the most pressure that I'll apply for the whole shot right about now. And so I'm not exactly sure how many bars of pressure I hit because I don't have a pressure thing. I don't have a gauge. But there's my shot of espresso, and I believe this is only my second time using this particular coffee bean. It's a Guatemalan. I can't remember which one it is exactly. It's a Guatemalan from Happy Mug. I roasted it myself in my popcorn machine. And I can't remember if this is the second time that I've made espresso with this coffee, or maybe it's the third time. But I only remember doing it one other time. The other time I did it, the espresso did not taste good. It tasted, I don't remember exactly what it tasted like. I don't know what kind of bad it was, but it wasn't good. So, we'll see this time. Maybe it came out good this time. If it didn't come out good, then it's likely that this coffee bean just isn't good as an espresso. At least not the way that I've roasted it. Because I pulled this off pretty well. So, like to let it sit for a second first. Or a few seconds. Maybe about 45 seconds. Probably about 45 seconds after the espresso comes out is probably the optimal time to start drinking it. Give it a little stir. I don't know if you can see it here or not, but it looks pretty good. It tastes pretty good too, actually. It's not amazing, but it definitely doesn't taste bad. It tastes pretty good. There's a little bit of bitterness. I think that's what I was getting the last time I made it. There was some bitterness to it. But you know what? I'm gonna try roasting this particular coffee bean a little bit lighter. I think it'll taste better like that. I mean, I personally tend to like lighter roasts anyways. I think a lot of people that are interested in getting this deep in a coffee, and if you're watching this, you're probably pretty deep in a coffee. So I think people that are this deep in a coffee tend to like the lighter roasts. Because Because everything starts to become homogeneous once you get to a darker roast. They all start to taste the same. But yeah, this doesn't taste bad. I'm gonna rinse my mouth out with water a little bit because I've been taking kratom like every hour for the last 6 hours, so my mouth kind of tastes like kratom. Yeah, it's not bad. Definitely not bad. You wouldn't get something like this from Star Blacks, I'll tell you that. It's not amazing, but it's pretty good. There's a little bit of bitterness, but it's really not overwhelming. I mean, you got to expect a little bit of bitterness, but it's not. The bitterness isn't predominating. It has that kind of like pretzel taste to it. That's the term that my brother used to describe it, and I don't know if pretzel taste is the best word to use to describe it, but there's this taste that I tend to get. I tend to get it in lighter roasted espressos. I don't really get it at all in darker roasts, or at least it's very minimal. But when I couldn't put my finger on it, but when he said that it tastes kind of like a pretzel, I said, yeah, it does. And that's the taste that I'm thinking of. I tend to get it when I get a good shot of espresso, a good lighter shot. There's this taste, it's like a salty taste almost. And I don't know what the hell it is. I don't know what I'm tasting, but there's like a salty, weird taste to it. And it's good. I don't know if it's good when you get a ton of that flavor, but it's good to get a little bit of it. And there's a little bit of it here. It's not overpowering. And you get that pretzel flavor and a little bit of bitterness right up front. And then there's kind of like almost a chocolatey taste. It's pretty good. See, this is kind of like right in between a light roast and a medium roast. Or maybe this is a medium roast. I really don't know. I have no idea. People use all these friggin' words. Full city roast. Big city roast. Little city roast. I don't know what this is. Maybe it's a town roast. Or like I don't know, like a village roast. I have no idea, but it's good. It's on the lighter to the medium side. Anyways, now I'm babbling. Have a good day.